not hesitate to say again that amendments to or revision of the Constitution at this time would be a lethal experiment, a fatal leap, a plunge to death, a leap to hell. It would be a cha-cha dance to the grave or to hell. It would be a cruel punishment for a God-loving, patriotic, and nationalistic people. It would be claiming our people to foreign domination or control. God forbid that we now amend our Constitution. Let me start with a reiteration of my firm and unchangeable stand that there are no valid, serious, and compelling reasons to amend our 1987 Constitution. What our country and our people need today are not amendments to or revision of the Constitution, but the full implementation of its principles and state policies, solemnly enshrined in its Article 2 and mandatory and provisions in its body. In about 150 instances, our Constitution orders the state or Congress to implement them by these solemn commands. Congress shall give highest priority to, the state shall, Congress shall, as provided by law, as established by law, or in accordance with law. However, either intentionally and with evident bad faith, or incompetence, or neglect of duty on the part of our concerned government officials, the state or Congress have not fully and meaningfully complied with these constitutional commands and mandates. Hence, a vast majority of the provisions, especially on social justice, on economic development, on abolition of political dynasties, among many others, have remained unimplemented to the great prejudice of our people, especially the poor, the marginalized, the underprivileged, or, open quote, the least, the last, and the lost, close quote. If at all there is a need to amend the Constitution, it must be based on the most compelling grounds or reasons. It must, foremost, be for the best interest of the country and the people, now and in the future, and not for a chosen few. It is to solve serious problems, not to create new ones. It must be in pursuance of and in compliance with the declared principles and state policies Article 2 of the Constitution. With these standards and tests in mind, let us now take a hard and serious look at the resolution of both houses number 6. Without saying it in clear language, it considers or describes the constitutional provisions covered by the proposal to be the culprits or causes that hindered or will continue to hinder economic growth. They are obstacles to economic development or progress. I must forthwith say that the provisions proposed to be amended and all other provisions of the national economy, such as those proposed to be amended in the House of Representatives resolution of both houses number 2, which include the economic provisions pertaining to agriculture, land ownership, and lease, are not the culprits or the causes of our massive social, economic, political, moral, and ethical problems and debacles. These are all caused by the failures to fully implement or enforce the Constitution, by poor governance and accountability, and open violations of the public trust character of the public office enshrined in Section 1 of Article 11 of the Constitution, which provides, open quote, public office is a public trust. Public officers and employees must, at all times, be accountable to the people, serve them with utmost responsibility, integrity, loyalty, and efficiency, and act with patriotism and justice, and lead modest lives. I repeat, Our problems are not due to the restrictive economic provisions of the Constitution. They cannot be solved by removing its restrictive economic provisions and completely leaving to Congress their future under the clause unless otherwise provided by law. On the contrary, they would create more serious and disturbing problems and consequences, which I will show later. Let us now look deeper into the proposals of Senate Resolution of both Houses number 6 on the provision on education. It leaves to Congress the power to change at any given time the Filipino citizenship requirement in the basic education. I repeat, basic education. Again, that in our educational system, we have the basic, the senior high, and the tertiary education. The proposal opens to foreign control or dominance our basic education, which is the most crucial in the development and growth of our young. This should run counter to Section 17 of Article 2 of the Declaration of Principles and State Policies of our Constitution, which provides, open quote, the state shall give priority to education, science and technology, arts, culture and sports to foster patriotism and nationalism, accelerate social progress, and promote total human liberation and development, close quote. Then, with foreign control or dominance in our basic education, we would put asunder the noble patriotic and nationalistic virtues which are constitutionally mandated to be a part of the curricula of all educational institutions, provided for in paragraph 2 of Section 3 of Article 14 of the Constitution, which reads, Section 2, paragraph 2, they shall inculcate patriotism and nationalism. Again, patriotism and nationalism. Foster love of humanity, respect for human rights, appreciation of the roles of national heroes in the historical development of the country. Teach the rights and duties of citizenship, strengthen ethical and spiritual values, develop moral character and personal discipline, encourage critical and creative thinking, broaden scientific and technological knowledge, and promote vocational efficiency, close quote. Can we expect foreigners at the helm or control of our educational system to seriously and heartily obey this state policy on education and curricula mandates? For instance, if a Chinese educational entity would now come in, do you expect it to be faithful enough to comply with these mandates? Would not its teachings focus on Chinese philosophy or even on the life of Mao Zedong? As regards the proposals affecting the provisions on public utilities and the advertising industry, suffice it to say that as to the first, there are already amendments to the Public Service Act. In any case, it would be extremely dangerous, I repeat, extremely dangerous, if we leave to Congress the extent of the Filipino citizenship requirement therein. The day will not be far when public utilities and advertising industry will be under the control or even under the full ownership by aliens. One Congress declares a 100 Filipino. Another Congress a 75-25 Filipino. Another Congress a 50-50 Filipino. Another a 25-75 Chinese. And even perhaps a 100% Chinese. The amendment would be grossly disadvantageous to our local businessmen and corporations or business entities engaged in the public utility and advertising industries. I repeat what I had been asserting before, that relaxing the Filipino citizenship requirement in the economic provisions of the country would easily convert our Congress into a FEE, F-E-E, all capital, market of lobbyists of foreign countries or businessmen to obtain amendments in their favor. Congress would cease to be a free, F-R-E-E, market of noble, nationalistic, patriotic ideals and ideas. Remember that the Senate is the conscience of the Republic. Fools rush in where angels fear to tread. Yes, devils will have their day when angels fly away. To conclude, I will not hesitate to say again that amendments to or revision of the Constitution at this time would be a lethal experiment, a fatal leap, a plunge to death, a leap to hell. It would be a cha-cha dance to the grave or to hell. It would be a cruel punishment for a God-loving, patriotic, and nationalistic people. It would be claiming our people to foreign domination or control. God forbid that we now amend our Constitution. God forbid that we now can no longer proudly and with glorious fervor sing, Land of the morning, Child of the sun returning, with fervor burning, thee do our souls adore. Land dear and holy, cradle of noble heroes, near shall invaders trample thy sacred shore. Ever within the skies and through thy clouds, and o'er thy hills and sea, do we behold the radiance, feel the throb of glorious liberty. The banner dear to all our hearts, its sun and stars alike, or never shall its shining field be dimmed by tyrant's might. Beautiful land of love, O land of light, in thine embrace its rapture to lie. But it is glory ever when thou art wrong for us, thy sons, to suffer and die. God bless the Philippines. God bless the Senate. God bless the beleaguered Filipino people.